Yo people, welcome to my channel. Hi, I am Oshin and I make videos on personal finance, tech reviews, life hacks, and whatnots. If you are interested in these topics, make sure to click the like button on this video and also click the subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell button beside it so that you will be notified whenever I have a new video. If you're done, let's begin. If there is one lesson that 2020 taught us is that anything can happen and that life is really uncertain. Like you could get married tomorrow, or that you could win the lottery, or worse, you could get sick. So for 2021, let's start our year by becoming more prepared by having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is essentially a buffer money that acts as a cushion whenever you are in a tight rope, meaning you only use it for emergencies. For example, bigla ka na ospital, kailangan mo ng pera, hindi siya planado, so that's where your emergency fund comes in. Another example is that kapag may nasira sa bahay ninyo and you need to have repairs or you need to replace that item instantly, that's where your emergency fund comes in. Please note that emergency funds should not be used for planned purchases like vacations, travels, new gadgets. No, don't use your emergency funds for those kind of purchases. You only use it for emergencies. So you might ask, gaano ba dapat kalaki yung emergency funds natin? There's not a strict rule of thumb kung gaano ba dapat kalaki yung emergency funds natin. But it's a common practice that you can save 3 to 6 months of your living expenses or your gross monthly income. Pero if kaya mo siyang i-stretch into 1 year, better. It might vary to everyone because each one of us would have different sources of income. May iba sa atin na seasonal yung sahod or yung iba sa atin ay full-time job. So regular na nakakaroon tayo ng pera every month. But definitely, you set a timeline when you want to achieve that goal of having an emergency fund. Set a timeline and put an action on it. Also note that before you build your emergency funds, make sure that you pay your debt first. Lahat dapat ng utang ay bayad na bago ka mag-ipon ng emergency funds mo. Kasi usually, yung mga debts natin or yung mga utang natin, they incur so much interests and we won't even have the chance to earn or to save up for our emergency funds or for any other purchases that we wanted to purchase. So in my case, since I have a full-time job and I have a regular position at my current company or my current work, I was able to save 20% of my monthly salary per month for me to be able to build up my emergency funds. And I was able to do it for 1 year. Guys, akala nyo lang matagal yung 1 year, pero sa totoo lang, mabilis lang siya. Hindi mo mamamalayan na you were able to save this X amount of money for your emergency funds after 1 year. You really just need discipline. And yeah, just discipline and make a habit of saving up money every month. So for today, we are also going to discuss what are the best banks, specifically digital banks, where we can put our emergency funds here in the Philippines. But before we proceed to that, let us answer the question first, that why digital banks instead of traditional banks? So the number one reason is that are they trustworthy? The answer is yes. All of the digital banks here in the Philippines are members of the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation or the PDIC. Ibig sabihin, kapag ikaw as a consumer or a customer, if you're able to deposit your money on these digital banks, your money, it's insured up to 500,000 pesos per depositor. Another reason is due to inflation. So remember that we have this thing in economics called inflation. Inflation is basically the increase of prices of our goods and services due to market-driven factors. So di ba minsan nakikita natin sa news na may inflation ng 3%, 4%, 5% for a specific year. On average, yung mga prices ng mga bilihin tumataas siya na on that X% na sinasabi sa news. So that's the reason why. every time that we make a savings account in a traditional bank, our money loses its value due to inflation. Why? So for example, nag-deposit ka ng 10,000 pesos on this traditional bank. Every year, meron siyang annual interest, say, na 0.25% or 0.50%. So, dun pa lang, lugi ka na. Kasi, yung value ng money mo, nagdi-decrease siya because inflation is on average at 3 to 5% per annum. So, the interest rates that are being given by banks, they're definitely lower than the inflation. So in order for you to preserve the value of your money when you're going to deposit it in a bank, you need to at least leverage inflation or better beat it. Another reason, or our third reason, is that some of these digital banks are actually giving generous promos, like the most recent ones na meron si ING nung December na 5% cashback promo. Please take note also that your emergency funds should be liquid enough so that you can access it immediately whenever you're in an emergency. Because, you know, walang kwenta na emergency fund siya pero ilalagay mo siya sa isang investment portfolio. So, always remember that your emergency funds should be liquid enough. Do not put your money or your emergency funds on investment portfolios that would, number one, have the risk of losing value when the market is down, or number two, investment schemes wherein your money will not be liquid enough, such as real estate properties. Now that we've talked about what an emergency fund is, now let's talk about what are the good digital banks here in the Philippines where we can put our emergency funds. Please take note that the digital banks that I will include here do not include the digital services or the digital or online banking services that are being offered by traditional banks, such as the BPI Online, BDO Online, Union Bank Online, etc. No, I will not include them on this list. The information that I would give to you guys would be significant enough so that you could decide where you want to put your emergency funds. The information that I will be sharing are as of January 2021 and may be subject to change anytime. I will be linking down in the description box below the links to these digital banks so that you would have more information on them. With that, let's start. So the first one in our list is CIMB. So CIMB is a Malaysian bank and they've established the Philippine branch in 2018. This is one of the crowd favorites because they offer 2 savings account schemes for your emergency funds. So the first one is the CIMB G-Save, which is in partnership with GCash, and it has an interest rate of 3.1% per annum. And then the second one is the CIMB Upsave, which has an interest rate of 3% per annum. So, yung difference lang nun dalawa is that you can open a CIMB G-Save account using your GCash account. And then, yung isang similarity naman nung dalawang accounts na to is that on top of their prescribed annual interest rates, they also offer both additional interest rates provided that you satisfy 3 conditions. But before we proceed to that, basically for G-Save, it's 0.9% per annum, and for Upsave, it's 1%. So, the 3 conditions are either one of these 3. Basically, if you satisfy yung isa sa kanila, you're good to go. So the first one is you should have a total relationship balance of 100,000 pesos by the end of the month on combined G-Save and Upsave accounts. And then the second one is you should have an average growth of 1,000 pesos or higher versus the previous month on your G-Save and or Upsave accounts. And then the third one is that you should have a cumulative cash-in of at least 500 pesos, provided that you are between 18 to 25 years old. And as of this date, CIMB is currently offering a promo of 4% per annum interest for both the G-Save and the Upsave accounts. What I also love about CIMB is that it also comes with a Visa debit card if you apply for a CIMB Fast Plus account, which is different from the G-Save and Upsave too. But the problem is that it has a lower interest rate. So ginagamit ko lang talaga to pambayad ng, you know, stuff. Debit card. So the second one in our list is ING. So ING is a global bank from the Netherlands, and their digital banking service in the Philippines has been here for quite some time. They currently offer a 2.5% interest per annum But starting October 2, 2020 and onwards, yung new depositors na lang yung merong 4% per annum on their first 4 months. So yung matagal ng depositors sa kanila, they will already revert back to 2.5%, unfortunately. I personally use ING because I opened an account from their bank after October 2 to take advantage of the 4% interest rate. But once the promo period that I was availing right now is over, I might switch to CIMB. Well, so far my experience with ING has been okay naman. But to be honest, nahirapan ako na magpa-verify ng account sa kanila because, well, it's kind of my fault. I submitted my passport ID as proof of identification. So, i-make sure nyo na if you're going to submit your passport, make sure to also include the signature page that is adjacent to your ID page. So, hindi lang yung may biometrics, pati yung katabi niya. And just a segue also, I also had a similar experience with CIMB. Nahirapan din ako na magpa-verify ng account with them. So, yeah, another pro tip, make sure that your documents are already there or they are ready before submitting them to these digital banks. And then meron din kasi siyang parang face verification. So, yeah, just make sure na merong lights or okay yung surroundings when you're trying to submit a video selfie or a selfie with these banks. So the third one in our list is Diskartech. So Diskartech is actually owned by RCBC, and personally I don't have much experience with them, I'm sorry. But since I only made an account with them recently. But based on what I've read based on my research, they currently offer an interest of 3.25% per annum. However, yung downside lang nung Diskartech is that the maximum deposit that you can only have for you to be able to avail of the interest is 48,000 pesos. So if you are someone na ang target na emergency fund is at 48,000 pesos, then I think this bank would be good for you. Yeah, but what I like about this bank is their goal section. You can set a financial goal and it's in Filipino also, which can be relatable to users who are more comfortable with the Filipino language. So, yeah, you can set a goal and then pwede mong ilagay kung para saan yun. Tapos bibigyan ka niya ng progress bar if you're almost there on that goal. So the fourth in our list is Komo. And Komo is another Filipino-owned digital bank which is owned by East West Bank. Not much significant information about Komo except that they're a digital bank and that they offer a 3% interest per annum. And then the last one in our list is Tonik. So this is one of the banks that I am a bit excited about because they're the first bank to be given by the BSP a license of digital bank only. And they are also the first neobank in the Philippines. So there's not much details about the bank right now because they are still in the beta phase, but they are expecting to have a full launch of their services this year. But as far as I know, they offer interest rates from 2 to 5.5%. Malaki yung 5.5%, guys. So let's see how it goes. But it would also depend now on the deposit account that you have with them. And what those deposit accounts are, I do not know exactly if they are time deposit accounts or, you know, simple savings account.
Here's a summary of all the banks that we've discussed today for better reference. I hope you guys would find this useful. And that ends our video.
Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, please do not forget to press the like button, comment down below which digital bank you're interested to invest your emergency funds, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell button beside it so that you will be notified whenever I have a new video. I will see you again on my next video, guys. Baboosh!